Howdy there, Chimp Champ. Welcome back to One Great Manga, where hopefully you are having a fantastic day today. And today we'll be talking about the transition from manga to normal books. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So manga is a very different format compared to actual books. These have pictures in them. Look at that, pictures. While a normal book, let me grab one real quick, is all words. Gross. Ugh. So how do you go from this, I don't even think this has any words in it, from this to this? And that's by starting small. So, first thing I want to talk about is the middle ground of these two. Right here. These two right here. Where's the middle ground in these? And the middle ground is light novels. Light novels are really, really interesting because we really don't have these in America. These are like Japanese created books that have pictures in them, usually with an anime art style. And some of my favorite series of all time, like Konosuba, is actually a light novel, which is freaking crazy. Some light novels do have manga adaptations, so like if you like the light novel but like you're still struggling, then you can usually hop just right back on it. For example, I have a volume of Vampire Hunter D that's a actual book with a couple pictures, but it's not considered a light novel for some reason, but got a couple pictures in it. And I'm having a hard time reading it, even though I really enjoy it. So I may flip over to the manga. So if you like a light novel, but you're still having trouble, you can always flip back. But we're strictly trying to get you up to that point where you can read a big fat book and read some really good stuff like The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff like that. If you're interested in that, or if you're a romance person, you like cowboys who have infidelities and he has to deal with babies, because I mean, sure, why not? It takes a while because you can't just go from this to this, because like it's gonna be a struggle. Or maybe you can. I don't know you. But start with a light novel. Try out a light novel first and see how you do. And of course, please don't force yourself to read it. If you can't read it, then just stop and go back. Eventually, you can make it through it and you will be able to do it. But do not force yourself to read it. That takes out all the fun with reading, and it becomes a chore. And when does reading become a chore when you're supposed to be having fun? Dang nabbit, that's not fun. So anyway, start with light novels. And then once you get from light novels, I suggest moving up a notch and going to books that have about 150 pages in it. So for example, this one right here. This sucker is super thin. It is only, I think, 150 pages. It's exactly 150 pages. This is a thin as crud book. And I'm going to read it. I was at work today, and I read a whole book, 150 pages, no problem. And that was because I took my time, and I read it, and I enjoyed it. And it was something I was interested in. Do not read a book that you're not interested in. I shouldn't have to say that. But like when you go somewhere and you're like, hey, I would like to read a book. And you're like, okay, cool, what do you like? And you're like, oh, I like fantasy. And they drop you like Harry Potter, and you're like, oh my god, that's a lot of words, and oh my god, I hate wizards. Like, speak up, because don't force yourself to read something you don't like. That's what I'm trying to say. Do not force yourself to read something you do not like, because you will be screwing yourself over. Let's recap. Start with a manga, and then go to a light novel. Konosuba is a great spot to start there. I know a lot of other people. If you read light novels, give some people some recommendations in the comments below of like beginner stuff so they can start. And then you can work your way up to smaller books, like 150 pages, and then eventually you go up to 200, and then 250, and then 300, 400, 500. And me saying okay, so where I'm at right now, I say 150 is like, I'm happy with the size of that book. I'm like, oh wow, that's a perfect size for a book, right? Then once I hear 200, I'm like, okay, I could still do that. 250, oh, that's a big book. 300, okay, yeah, that's out of my range. I can't read past 300 pages. It's too daunting of a task for me. So I'm still working at that. And eventually, I'm going to be able to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'll be fine with that. But for where I am right now, I am most happy reading a book at 150 pages. So you got to find that for yourself. Where do you find something that's not daunting, right? Where is it like actually fun instead of like, oh crap, that's a big book that I need to read. Once you find that nice spot, go from there and slowly, and I do mean slowly start moving your way up to the pages until you can find a book that's big, that's like superly big, and you can read it. And then I'll be so proud of you, bro. If you can read a book like Harry Potter after like slowly, gradually going up the stuff, I'll be like, bro, congratulations, that's freaking amazing. But yeah, start small and eventually grow up to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And with that, my friend, thank you for watching. Hopefully you have a fantastic day, my beautiful, beautiful Chimp Champ. And as always, go out there and read some manga, my friend.